You turn the key and absolutely nothing happens. Everyone tells you it's a dead battery, but I'm about to show you the real culprit that mechanics don't want you to know about because it costs them serious money. 9 times out of 10, your battery is perfectly fine, and the actual problem is something so simple you could fix it in 60 seconds with a basic wrench. This affects every single car on the road, from brand new Teslas to 20-year-old Hondas, and the automotive industry makes billions keeping this secret from you. I've worked in shops for over 12 years, and I've seen this exact scenario play out thousands of times. People spend hundreds of dollars on new batteries, alternators, and diagnostic fees when the real issue costs literally $0 to fix. The secret is hiding right under your hood in plain sight, and today I'm exposing everything. What I'm about to reveal will save you a fortune and massive frustration. Keep watching, because this information changes everything you thought you knew about car starting problems. Hey, if you like this kind of straight-to-the-point content with no BS, help me out here. Subscribe to the channel right now. It takes 2 seconds and guarantees you won't miss any tips that could save you some serious cash. Let me tell you about what happened to my neighbor Sarah last month. She drives a 2018 Honda Accord, takes great care of her car, never misses an oil change, keeps everything maintained. One morning she's running late for work, gets in her car, turns the key, and nothing. Complete silence. Maybe one click. Her dash lights flickered weakly, then went dark. First thing she thinks is dead battery, right? That's what everyone assumes. She calls day, waits 45 minutes. The technician shows up with his portable jump pack, hooks it up, and her car fires right up immediately. He tells her she needs a new battery. She drives straight to the Honda dealership because she wants OEM quality. They test her battery, confirm it's weak, and sell her a brand new battery for $185 plus installation. She drives away thinking problem solved. 3 weeks later, exact same thing, car won't start. She's confused and frustrated because she just dropped $200 on a new battery. Now she's thinking maybe the alternator isn't charging the battery properly. She takes it back to the dealer. They test the alternator, and it's working perfectly fine, putting out 14.2 volts exactly like it should. They're scratching their heads. Maybe there's a parasitic drain somewhere, something electrical staying on overnight draining the battery. They spend 3 hours tracking down electrical systems with expensive diagnostic equipment. They charge her $220 for diagnostics and can't find anything wrong. Meanwhile, she's still stuck with a car that randomly refuses to start. This nightmare scenario happens to thousands of people every single year across America. Here's the kicker that's going to make you angry. The battery was never the problem. The alternator was fine. There was no parasitic drain. The actual issue was something that literally takes 30 seconds to check and costs absolutely nothing to fix in most cases. I'm talking about battery terminals. Those metal clamps that connect your battery cables to the battery posts. This is hands down the most common cause of no start conditions, and it's something that probably 95% of mechanics won't even check properly because they make way more money selling you parts and running diagnostics. Here's what's really happening with battery terminals and why this problem fools everyone, including mechanics. Your car's electrical system runs on 12 volts, but when you try to start your engine, it draws absolutely massive amounts of current. Your starter motor pulls anywhere from 150 to 300 amps during that brief moment when you turn the key. To put that in perspective, your headlights draw maybe 10 amps. Your radio uses 2 amps. The starter is pulling 30 times more electricity than everything else combined. That's an enormous amount of power flowing through those battery connections. Over time, 3 things happen to your battery terminals that create problems. First, corrosion builds up on the connections. You've probably seen that white crusty stuff or blue-green powder on battery posts before. That's corrosion caused by battery acid vapor and moisture in the air reacting with the metal. Even a microscopic amount of corrosion creates electrical resistance. Second, the terminal clamps themselves get loose. Every single time you drive over a pothole, every time your engine vibrates at idle, those clamps wiggle just a tiny bit. After months or years of this, they work themselves loose enough that they're not making solid metal-to-metal contact anymore. Third, there's invisible oxidation happening on the contact surfaces between the terminal and the battery post. Even if you can't see any visible corrosion with your eyes, there's a thin layer of oxidation forming constantly. All 3 of these factors combine to create high resistance in your electrical connection. When you have high resistance, low current applications still work fine. That's why your dome light turns on, your radio works, and your dashboard lights up. These things only draw a few amps. But when your starter tries to pull 200 amps through that corroded or loose connection, the resistance is too high. The voltage drops instantly to almost nothing. Your starter doesn't get the power it needs, so absolutely nothing happens. You might hear one click from the starter solenoid attempting to engage, but there's not enough juice to actually turn the motor. From your perspective, sitting in the driver's seat, this looks exactly identical to a dead battery. The symptoms are the same. Most mechanics will test your battery voltage with a multimeter, see it reading 12.6 volts, and assume the battery is good. But here's what they're missing. A voltage test tells you nothing about the connection quality. You could have perfect voltage right at the battery terminals, but zero voltage making it to your starter if those connections are bad. So here's exactly how you diagnose this problem yourself in less than 1 minute. Pop your hood and find your battery. You'll see two cables attached. One positive cable, usually red, connects to the post marked with a plus sign. One negative cable, usually black, connects to the minus signpost. Look closely at both connections. Do you see crusty white or greenish blue corrosion? If yes, you found your problem. But even if they look clean, grab each terminal clamp and try to twist it. Can you move it at all? If there's any movement, that terminal is loose and causing your no start problem. A properly tightened terminal should not budge. Now let me show you the fix. If you've got corrosion, disconnect the negative cable first. Always negative first to prevent sparks. Loosen the bolt with a wrench until you can pull the cable off. Then disconnect the positive cable. Take a wire brush and scrub all the corrosion off both the battery posts and inside the terminal clamps. You want shiny bare metal on both surfaces. You can buy a battery terminal cleaning brush at AutoZone for $3. If you don't have a wire brush, mix baking soda and water into a paste and pour it on the corroded areas. It'll fizz as it neutralizes the acid. Let it sit, then scrub with an old toothbrush. Rinse with water and dry completely. Now reconnect your cables, positive first, then negative. Here's the critical part most people miss. Tighten those terminal bolts down hard. Really crank on them. I'm talking tight enough that there's zero movement. Most terminals use a 10 or 13 millimeter bolt. Tighten firmly, but don't strip the threads. If your terminals are still loose when fully tightened, the clamps are worn out. New battery terminal clamps cost $5 at any auto parts store. Cut the old clamp off, strip back half an inch of insulation, and bolt the new clamp on. Once everything is cleaned and tightened, buy battery terminal protector spray or dielectric grease for $6. Spray this on your terminals after they're connected. This creates a moisture barrier preventing future corrosion. You can also use petroleum jelly. Now, let me address something I see constantly. Someone cleans their terminals, the car starts fine for 2 weeks, then the problem returns. If your battery is older than 4 years, it might be off-gassing excessively, which accelerates corrosion. You might need to clean terminals every couple months, or eventually replace the battery. But now you understand the difference. Here's my pro tip. Keep a wire brush and terminal cleaner in your trunk. When you're stuck somewhere and your car won't start, fix it yourself in 2 minutes. Also, inspect your battery cables. Follow them from battery to engine block and starter. Look for cracks or fraying. Sometimes cables corrode internally even though they look fine. If you see green corrosion inside the insulation, replace that cable. New cables cost $20 to $40. The negative cable connecting battery to engine is the ground cable. Check both ends of both cables. Bottom line, battery terminal problems are incredibly common, incredibly simple to fix, and incredibly profitable for the industry when you don't know about them. You now have the knowledge to solve this yourself in minutes. Check your terminals twice a year. Keep them clean and tight. I've seen people waste thousands on batteries, alternators, and diagnostics when they just needed to tighten a bolt. The industry conditions people to think cars require expert help. Sometimes that's true, but not for this. This is basic maintenance anyone can do with zero experience. You don't need special skills or expensive tools. Just a wrench in 5 minutes. So next time your car won't start, don't call a tow truck. Pop the hood, check those terminals, clean them, tighten them hard, and you'll be back on the road.